Good morning, everybody. Auronnj here with another Final Fantasy VII evercrisis video, and today we're going to do a Sephiroth character weapon tier list video, and I'm going to try not to say that too many more times because it was a little bit long, but I'm going to tell you what I think of all of Sephiroth's weapons. I'm going to put them on a tier list, kind of clue you in to what weapons you want to invest in, what weapons you want to boost the rates of, if Sephiroth is somebody you are strongly thinking about building, which I think is most people in the game right now, because before I even get into this, he might be as good as Cloud. Like, we'll have to see. I'll need to see some fully built guys out there, see some more content rolling, but he looks like kind of the opposite side of Cloud, where Cloud is this dominant physical carry. I think Sephiroth is going to be just as dominant of a magic carry. So let's jump in. Now, I want to start by mentioning a similarity that he and Cloud have, and that's this. They both have an outfit with an Arcanum on it. Sephiroth has Frostblade Arcanum, which gives 35% ice ability damage up. Cloud has this, and Cloud came with a lightning sword. Sephiroth has this, and Sephiroth comes with a magic ice sword. And this piece of gear that he has also boosts magic attack up. This is the perfect piece of gear, and because he has this, I want to mention that I think it makes one of his weapons S tier. So we're going to go to this page right here and check this thing out. Edged Wings. This is the first one we're going to talk about. This is his current featured weapon in the game. I think this is an S tier weapon for Sephiroth. Aerial Frostblade +++ goes up to 800% damage. Obviously that's like super whale level, but it's a very high potency single target ice magic damage ability. Single target abilities I like more than AoE abilities. They're boss killers. That continues to be kind of something you need in this game. It also gives more boost magic attack, so it synergizes really well with the piece of gear that it comes out with, and boost ice potency. I mean, you can just see how this makes for an insane ice damage build for Sephiroth. Now, the special materia slots, I don't love attack boost, like that's just not my favorite one, but it does also have a magic attack boost, which I love for this, and a sigil boost. I think sigil boosts are very underused. I think they're very underrated by a lot of people in the game. So, with all that being said, we are going to take Sephiroth's current featured weapon and slide it into S tier. I'm going to tell you right now, though, there's not a whole lot of company up there for it in the S tier. That's okay. Let's move on to our next one. And our next weapon for Sephiroth is going to be the Nameless. I'm just going to take these things in order. Now, Nameless is a physical damaging skill materia. I don't think Sephiroth is meant to be a physical damage dealer, but I do think this weapon is interesting. However, I just don't feel like anybody's going to be building Sephiroth this way. Toleric Fury, the move with this weapon, has a lot to like about it. It's only 2 ATB cost, which is great. Then it goes up to a magic defense decrease medium potency. You might be thinking, wait a second, Auronnj, this dude is a magic damage dealer. Don't you want to use magic defense debuffs? Yeah, you probably do, but not from Sephiroth because he has such a better secondary slot weapon that I'll talk about here in a minute. Still, I think this move is good, and it does give boost HP and boost lightning resist, so maybe you see this worked into some like very specific like high-level Ramuh teams or something like that. Again, I don't love the attack boost materia slots. It does come with a physical attack boost slot as well. If it had all three of those, I might have thought a little bit higher of this thing. Still, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to slide this solidly into B tier. I think it has some uses, again, maybe in like high tier anti-lightning teams as a sub weapon or something like that, but it's not terrible. That's just where I'm going to put it for now, into the B tier. Okay, let's jump back into the game and go to our next weapon, and that's the Glaried here. Glaried. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Anyway, it is another physical DPS weapon. This one is an AoE weapon. It's just 650% AoE damage. It does have boost physical attack. That is a feather in this thing's hat. I like boost physical attack R abilities. I think it's good. And then boost limit break potency. I don't love this. I actually just think that like limit breaks were really strong when the game came out, but summons are so much better than so many limit breaks. This does, if you stack this all the way, it would boost limit break damage by 85%. Sephiroth does have some good limit breaks on there, but I think you're going to look for other R abilities than that. Then again, attack boost, that's just such like generically like okay. I just don't like it. I do like the earth attack boost, however. I think that's another little thing going for this. So my favorite two things about this weapon are the boost physical attack R ability and the earth up, or the attack boost earth special materia slot, but I don't think this is great. This is one of Sephiroth's worst weapons in my opinion, so I'm going to slide it into the C tier for now. Okay, let's jump back over to the game and look at our next one. We'll get off the Glaried here, and we're going to go to the Aeonibi. Now, if you've watched any other content about Sephiroth at all, you have seen so much about this. I'm not even going to spend a ton of time on it. Let me just put it like this. You get this weapon, you level it, and then you put it in Sephiroth's secondary weapon slot. You know, the one that gives you the other move, because this move right here, Frenzied Stance, is insane. Now, a couple things that I want to mention about it. One, the timer on this buff, it's a self buff. It's a magic damage increasing self buff. This is better than his magic defense debuff, or at least from what we've seen so far, it's significantly better. One of the reasons is it has a very high time up, right? At rank 1, like if you have no dupes, you haven't leveled this thing at all, it's 36 seconds. At its max rank, it's 44 seconds. That's enough time to get several boosted attacks off. And you want to make sure you're using this skill when you can get several boosted attacks off. That's a big deal. Then the R abilities on this thing aren't bad. Oh, by the way, I forgot. It also gives you regenerate and heals you a little bit. If it wasn't already good enough at just pumping up your damage, it also heals you. So keep that in mind. Then it has survivability built into it in another place in the boost HP R ability. So I like this as well. This is just the perfect secondary slot weapon for Sephiroth. Then boost ability potency. Now, I think this is great, but I don't think it's like great. There's a little bit better one floating around out there. Still, this is a really nice one. What this does, if you're confused, when you're in attack stance or defense stance, this will boost your magic and physical ability damage by 40%. It is essentially the equivalent of this attack boost materia slot, but in an R ability that it affects your stances. So that's something I think a lot of people are confused about right now, but that's how that works. One drawback to this weapon is it does have attack boost and attack boost. Man, oh man, for a weapon that's so focused on boosting magic damage, I would have loved for one of those to be magic attack boost. Still, the ability on this thing, the C ability, is so good. It overcomes its lacking special materia slots, and then heal boost really isn't bad because most characters in this game, I feel like, especially if you're auto-forming teams, do snag a heal materia, so his heals will be a little bit more potent. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. This is easily an S tier weapon, and it's probably his best weapon. It probably is. Now, I know right now, you know what? I'm not going to say that right now. I think right now, this ice tier weapon is better because it has the equipment that goes with it. However, you're going to get a lot more use out of Aeonibi, and it doesn't really matter where I throw this on my random tier list here. I'll tell you what, because I think of the lasting power of this thing, I'm going to slide it into S for now, and I'm going to put it just as his best weapon. Okay, that's the Aeonibi. That's where I think it falls on the tier list. Let's jump back into the game and look at our next one, which is the Northern Lights. Now, a lot of people are down on this. I'm going to kind of walk you through why. Here we go. The ability on this, Radiant Aura plus plus plus. 510 physical damage to a single enemy with a physical attack decrease. Problem here is that even at max rank, it's only a 25-second physical attack decrease, and it's high potency, which is good, but not super long. At rank 1, it's only 20 seconds, and okay. Then the R abilities on this thing, magic defense, fire resist. Once again, maybe there's some like high-end like Ifrit teams or fire boss teams where you can take a lot of advantage of these R abilities down here. I could see that being used for this thing. The special materia slots, once again, generic attack boost, and it does have a physical attack boost in that third slot, which I think makes it better than it might otherwise be. But overall, I mean, it's a physical damaging sword. If you're building him physical damage, okay, but for a non-elemental physical attack, like, I don't know, 510% is not nearly as good as a lot of other weapons in this game. So I think it has some niche uses. I'm still going to drop it down here into the C tier. It's kind of hanging out towards the bottom. Okay, time to move on to our next sword. And we're going to jump back in to some magic damage dealing weapons. And we're going to go Prototype Crimson Blade. Now, here's the deal with Prototype Crimson Blade. It has Fire Auga A, the upgrades to Fire Auga A++. I guess they did a lot of extra credit. You know what I mean? They got that A+, and then they like did the extra homework, got that 105%, whatever it is, A++. 520 magic damage, but all enemies. So it's an AoE attack. It has our ability, boost attack. Again, I wish this was boost magic attack, but it is just boost attack. So a little bit of a point deduction there, but boost fire potency. Now we're back on track. Now we're talking. This thing will boost fire damage. Both of these R abilities directly boost the amount of damage this weapon would do if you were running it in like his main hand slot. So I do really like that. Materia slots. You have an attack boost, which again, I just don't love those, but you also have 2 magic attack boosts. That really ups the value of this thing in my opinion. It makes this sword more generically useful because yes, you have the AoE fire attack, but you can slot in single target damage magic materias and boost them right here in these 2 slots. I think that's really good for this. It has a high magic stat over here at 535. I actually think that this is a pretty good weapon. Now, it's not as good as these S tier weapons, but on Magic Sephiroth, I think it is solidly an A tier weapon. It might not be the top of A tier because AoE damage isn't necessarily as good as single target damage, but think about doing those like hard Shiva fights that we're all kind of like trying to climb through right now. You have a lot of ice element enemies that if you could just be AoE blasting them down, it would make those fights go a lot smoother. Okay, there we go. So that's that one. Let's go ahead and move on to our next one, which is going to look kind of similar to the last one, the Alloy Sword. Now, whereas the last one was AoE fire, this one AoE thunder damage. A lot of thunder damage in the game right now. Lots of ways to currently enhance thunder damage in the game right now, so thunder's in a good spot. This has better R abilities than the last sword though, because instead of boosting generic attack, like let's compare these two. This is, I keep talking about this. Let me give you a comparison. Boost attack. Let's look at the max rank. This is boost attack 40. This by itself at boost attack 40 gets you level 5. So that's magic attack plus 50 and 15%. It also does that for physical, but Sephiroth doesn't really care about physical if you're building a mage. So this sword by itself gives you the plus 50 plus 15. If we were to compare that to this lightning one, which is giving magic, and it gives magic 27, that gets you to magic attack plus 100 and plus 20%. And even though it's significantly less points, right? It's only plus 27 instead of the plus 40 on the other one. You are getting such a higher potency because it's the boost magic attack. It actually gets you all the way to the plus 100 and plus 20%, and then you can stack some more to get those higher percentages as you go. Then it also comes with boost lightning potency plus 48, which is enough to get you all the way into level 6 for plus 70 damage. Great R abilities. That's what I'm trying to say right there. The special materia, it loses some points here because it has 2 generic attack boosters, but it does have 1 slot for magic attack boost, which I think is awesome. So there's that. If I was to put this on the tier list, it definitely lives in the A tier with the fire sword, but I'm going to rank it above the fire sword. Really though, they're both A tier, and if you're fighting fire stuff, or your stuff that's weak to fire, you're going to want to use the fire sword. If you're fighting stuff that's weak to lightning, there you go, you're going to want to use the lightning sword. All right, let's jump back into the game. We only have 2 swords left to talk about here, so let's go. We got the Mithril Type Zero Katana. This is a self-buffing weapon. Let's look at what it maxes out at. Steadfast Stance plus is a physical defense buff. Now, something nice about this is it's a 44-second buff. That is a long time. Like, think about this game running in 1 x speed. 44 seconds. Like, imagine a clock, and the hand on that clock has to go 3/4 of the way around before this buff wears off. That's really nice. It also gives him regenerate, heals him for a little bit, so that's good. This is a survivability weapon. The R abilities, again, boost HP is nice, but look at this. I want to point this out. Boost magic ability potency 36. This gives you 36 points, which is attack, stance, command, magic ability damage plus 60%. That makes this a very good sub-weapon for your mages. A very good sub-weapon for your mages. So I like that. I don't know. Again, the problem with Sephiroth here, and real quickly, we'll look here. It has special materia slots, general attack boost, magic attack boost, like a lot of his other weapons do. But I want to just look at this for a minute. One thing about Sephiroth that you've noticed, Sephiroth, he has magic elemental swords, right? These 3 right here, and another sword that greatly increases his magic damage. This one goes in slot 2, and these all go in slot 1. It's sort of hard to imagine a world where I would rather slot this in. Maybe there's some fights later where I just desperately need this high potency defense buff to kind of help me survive, but the regen and the heal that it's giving are also provided by the Aeonibi up there in slot S. So I think it's a cool weapon. I think it's a great idea. I just don't know when you would use it, except maybe as a sub slot. Still, I think it's cool. I think it's good. I am going to give it a B ranking. I'll put it towards like top of B. Maybe it's more valuable than any of us even realize. Like, that's a possibility. Okay, now back to the game. We got one more weapon to cover. Get off of there, Type Zero. We've got this guy right here, the Shinra Blade Model 1. I got a lot of good things to say about this one. First of all, 9 at max rank, 940% magic damage. Now, it is elementalist, so it's not going to be, for a specific matchup based sword. But if you're just running like generic Sephiroth against stuff that's weak to like wind, and he doesn't have a wind sword, here you go. This thing's going to hit like a truck. It also has generic attack boost, which I don't love, but look at this. Boost ability potency. It's another weapon that would stack the boost ability potency. So physical and magic damage abilities up. Again, I wish it was a little bit more specific, but as a sub weapon, it could be useful for about anybody with that. Really, the highlight of this thing is he just has a super hard hitting non-elemental magic attack that again would slot in well with his magic attack boosting offhand weapon. The special materia slots are phenomenal on this. This is where this thing goes next level in my opinion. Yes, this big number right here has gotten a lot of attention, but let me tell you what my favorite part of this is. Magic attack boost, water attack boost. We cover an element that Sephiroth does not currently have a weapon for right here. You just slot in a water damage materia. Then you have two other materias right here that will now hit harder. Then you have a non-elemental one, if that would be better. Then you're boosting your damage here. I think these slots, especially this water attack booster, are phenomenal. I think this actually elevates this into like the bottom of S tier or top of A. So if I was going to slide this somewhere, I think I would put it maybe like right here or right here. I don't know. S tier feels a little bit generous, and like right now in the game, again, we're judging this game based on right now. I feel like specific elements are better and water might not have as much uses, but I feel like the real place this sword lives is here because it covers another element for Sephiroth. If you consider this like his water weapon, well then he now has ice, lightning, fire, and water weapons that are all magic and can all be boosted by this magic attack boosting sword right there. So guys, that's my breakdown of these Sephiroth weapons. There's the tiers. I hope you like this format of video. I can't wait for the Steam client, so when I'm doing this stuff, I don't have to constantly be looking down at my phone, but that'll come when it comes. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day. I'll catch you next time. Peace.